Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to present a fascinating case study titled The North Face and Cartier Credential Stuffing Attacks. This session will explore some critical cybersecurity failures and lessons learned from these incidents. We'll look into attack methods, governance issues, and strategies to prevent similar breaches in the future. Over the next few minutes, we'll delve into the details to help us all become better prepared for cybersecurity threats. Let's get started. Now, let's take a closer look at who was involved in this cyber attack. The main attacker group is known as Scattered Spider. They're not your average hackers. They are a highly organized global cybercriminal syndicate. This means they operate across borders with a clear structure and strategy. They employ sophisticated credential-based attacks, which involve stealing or guessing login information to gain access to accounts. What makes them particularly dangerous is their combination of technical expertise, using advanced hacking techniques, with social engineering tactics, which often involve manipulating people into revealing sensitive information. They also recruit hackers from underground forums, creating a sort of dark network of skilled individuals working together for financial gain. Their operations are primarily driven by motives like making money, stealing identities, or reselling data to the highest bidder. Now, turning to the victims, two notable examples are the North Face and Cartier. The North Face is a well-known international outdoor retailer with a large online customer base. Their extensive digital presence makes them a valuable target. Cartier, on the other hand, is a luxury French jewelry and watch company serving high-value clients around the world. Both companies have valuable data and customer trust at stake. Understanding who was involved and who was targeted helps us see the broader picture. How organized cybercriminal groups like Scattered Spider focus their efforts on high-profile, lucrative targets. It also underscores the importance of robust security measures to protect both businesses and their customers from these kinds of threats. Now, let's walk through what actually happened during this breach. First, the attackers started by gathering data. Specifically, they obtained what are called combo lists. These are collections of usernames and passwords that had been leaked in previous, unrelated security breaches. They used these lists to increase their chances of success. Next, they moved on to automated testing. Using bots, they rapidly tested these credential combinations against the login portals of both companies involved. This process is quick and efficient, allowing attackers to try thousands of credentials in a very short time. Once they found credentials that worked, they gained access to customer accounts, especially those where users had reused passwords from earlier breaches. This reuse is a common vulnerability because many people tend to use the same passwords across multiple sites. With access secured, the attackers exploited the data. They extracted personal information, changed account details, and even placed fraudulent orders. For example, one North Face customer discovered unauthorized orders for camping equipment, with the shipping redirected to another state, causing real inconvenience and potential financial loss. Similarly, at Cartier, attackers altered profile information, which not only compromised individual privacy, but also opened the door for social engineering attacks. These actions highlight how a single breach can escalate, affecting customers' trust and security on multiple levels. Overall, this step-by-step process underscores the importance of strong, unique passwords and multi-factor authentication to defend against such multi-stage attacks. Now, let's take a closer look at how the attack actually happened. Essentially, it was a combination of technical and procedural gaps that allowed the breach to occur. One of the main methods used was credential stuffing. This is where cybercriminals leverage automated tools to test large volumes of stolen username and password pairs across different sites. The key to this attack was exploiting the common habit of password reuse. Many users tend to recycle the same passwords they've used elsewhere, which makes it easier for attackers to gain access. Another critical factor was the absence of multi-factor authentication, or MFA. Neither company had enforced MFA across all accounts, which would have added an extra layer of security. Without it, A stolen password alone was enough to access accounts, making the attack much simpler. Additionally, the defenses against automated bot attacks were quite weak. There were no effective CAPTCHAs, rate limiting, or behavioral analytics in place to identify and block suspicious activity. This allowed the attackers to run their automated scripts more freely. Finally, detection was delayed because there wasn't robust real-time monitoring for login anomalies, such as surges in failed login attempts. This lack of early warning meant the attackers could persist longer without being noticed. All these elements, password reuse, missing MFA, inadequate bot protections, and slow detection, combined to create an environment where the attack could succeed. It really highlights the importance of a comprehensive security approach that covers both technical defenses and procedural protocols. So let's walk through the timeline of how this incident unfolded. It all started in early June 2025, when the initial attacks began targeting the customer portals of both retailers. This was the first sign that something was seriously wrong. As the week progressed into the first week of June, we saw the attack activity escalate significantly, with more accounts being compromised and malicious activities increasing. By the second week of June, customers started experiencing the fallout firsthand. There were reports of account lockouts and, unfortunately, fraudulent transactions occurring in their accounts. This was a clear indication that the breach was actively impacting real users. Moving into mid-June, both companies completed their internal investigations and took the necessary steps to disclose what had happened publicly. This transparency is crucial in maintaining trust and setting the stage for mitigation. Finally, in late June, the companies wrapped up their regulatory notifications, informing authorities and compliance bodies. This marked the beginning of the remediation process, fixing vulnerabilities, strengthening security measures, and working to prevent future incidents. Understanding this timeline helps us see not just how the attack unfolded, but also the importance of timely detection and response. It underscores the need for robust security measures and proactive monitoring to protect both the companies and their customers. Now, let's take a closer look at where this incident actually took place. When we talk about the scope and geographic reach, it's important to understand just how widespread the impact was. Starting with the North Face, the primary affected customers were in the United States, but it's also worth noting that international accounts were at risk as well. This shows that while the core impact was in the US, the reach extended beyond borders, affecting global users. Moving on to Cartier, the situation was even more expansive. The impact spanned across multiple regions: North America, Europe, Asia, and other parts of the world where Cartier has an online presence. So, we're looking at a truly global issue here. Now, let's talk about the systems that were targeted during this incident. The attackers focused on critical points within the online infrastructure. First, customer-facing login portals. These are the gateways customers use to access their accounts. Then, the authentication APIs, which handle the verification process behind the scenes. And finally, the back-end user account management systems, which store and manage user information securely. Connecting this back to our overall theme, understanding where and how these systems are targeted helps us see the importance of robust security measures. It underscores why protecting these key points is vital to safeguarding both customer data and the integrity of the business. Now, let's explore some preventive measures within governance, risk, and compliance that could have significantly mitigated the attack. Starting with governance, it's crucial that executive boards recognize authentication as a critical business risk. When authentication isn't seen as just a technical detail, but as a strategic concern, it receives the attention and resources it deserves. Regular security briefings during board meetings help ensure that leadership stays informed about evolving threats and security posture. Additionally, establishing clear policies for reviewing authentication systems ensures that these systems are consistently evaluated and improved over time. Moving on to risk management, a proactive approach is essential. Routine threat modeling, especially around credential stuffing attacks, helps identify vulnerabilities before they can be exploited. Enforcing multi-factor authentication for all users adds an extra layer of security that many attackers find hard to bypass. Implementing advanced bot mitigation techniques is also key. These tools can differentiate between legitimate users and malicious bots attempting to automate attacks. And real-time anomaly detection allows us to spot suspicious activity as it happens, enabling swift responses to potential breaches. Finally, under the umbrella of compliance, staying current with regulations like GDPR and CCPA through regular reviews ensures we're aligned with legal standards and best practices. Conducting independent security audits provides an unbiased assessment of our defenses, highlighting areas for improvement. And focused penetration testing on authentication systems helps uncover weaknesses before malicious actors do. Together, these measures create a comprehensive framework that not only strengthens our defenses, but also demonstrates a strong commitment to security at every level of the organization. This holistic approach is essential in not just reacting to threats, but actively preventing them from causing damage. Now, let's look at some effective solutions to prevent credential stuffing attacks. First up, technologies like multi-factor authentication, or MFA, are essential. By requiring 2 or more verification methods, think of something you know, something you have, or something you are, we add a vital layer of security. Popular tools like Do Security, Okta, or Microsoft Authenticator make implementing MFA straightforward and highly effective. Next, we need to address bot activity. That's where bot mitigation and web application firewalls, or WAFs, come into play. These tools help us distinguish between legitimate users and malicious bots trying to scrape or brute force their way in. Services like Cloudflare, Imperva, and Akamai excel at filtering out illegitimate traffic before it reaches our systems. Credential monitoring is another critical aspect. By continuously scanning for leaked credentials through platforms like SpyCloud or Have I Been Pwned, we can quickly generate alerts and force password resets if necessary, reducing the risk of compromised accounts being exploited. Of course, policies and processes are just as important as technology. Educating our customers about password security helps prevent weak or reused passwords. Additionally, having detailed incident response playbooks tailored to credential stuffing incidents ensures we respond swiftly and effectively. Regular governance, risk management, and compliance reviews, using tools like LogicGate or RSA Archer, keep our security posture aligned with best practices. Finally, implementing anomaly detection systems, such as Splunk or IBM QRadar, enables us to identify unusual activity early. These systems analyze patterns and help us spot potential attacks before they cause significant harm. Bringing all these solutions together creates a comprehensive defense, making credential stuffing much harder for attackers and protecting our systems and users. Now, let me share a real-world example that really highlights the power of these security measures. A major global retail company decided to implement multi-factor authentication for all their customers, along with a sophisticated bot detection firewall. And the results were quite impressive. They saw a 90% reduction in successful credential stuffing attacks, which means their systems became much harder for hackers to compromise. This directly translated into a significant drop in fraud-related losses. In fact, they experienced about an 85% decrease in financial losses stemming from account takeovers. That's a huge win, not just for security, but also for the bottom line. And perhaps most importantly, customer trust improved. The company's security satisfaction ratings went up by 73%, showing that customers feel safer when their accounts are better protected. This story really ties into our overall message. Implementing strong, multi-layered security measures not only defends against attacks, but also boosts customer confidence. It's a win-win that underscores the importance of proactive security in today's digital landscape. In closing, the incidents involving the North Face and Cartier back in June 2025 really highlight a crucial point. Cybercriminals often target the weakest link in security, which is frequently human behavior or outdated methods of authentication. It's a stark reminder that technology alone isn't enough. We need a comprehensive approach to security. This means strong leadership from the top, with executives actively driving security initiatives and fostering a culture of awareness. Regular risk assessments are essential. They help us stay ahead of emerging threats and adapt our defenses accordingly. Implementing mandatory multi-factor authentication adds an extra layer of protection, making it much harder for attackers to succeed with stolen credentials. Advanced bot detection tools are also critical. They help identify and block malicious automated activity before it causes harm. And ongoing education is vital, training our teams regularly to recognize phishing attempts and suspicious behavior keeps everyone vigilant. Of course, compliance with regulations is non-negotiable. It ensures we meet industry standards and avoid penalties while protecting our reputation. By combining these strategies, leveraging the latest technologies, establishing strong governance, risk, and compliance frameworks, and fostering a proactive security culture, we can significantly reduce the risk of credential-based attacks. This not only helps safeguard customer trust, but also ensures our business can continue to operate smoothly and securely into the future.